As a psychiatric nurse turned millionaire entrepreneur, I discovered one mental trigger that separates six-figure earners from seven-figure closers, and it has nothing to do with your product. In fact, when I was working in psychiatric hospitals, I learned something about human behavior that completely changed how I approach sales. Now, most people think selling is about features, benefits, and logic. But here's the thing I discovered treating patients with mental health conditions. People don't make decisions based on logic. They make decisions based on how they make them feel. And if you're struggling to close deals right now, I guarantee you're making the same mistake I made when I lost £65,000 in my first business. Now look, let me take you back to 2008. I'm working in one of the largest psychiatric hospitals in the UK, and I'm dealing with patients who are making decisions every single day. Now you might think, what has this got to do with sales? Everything. You see, in psychiatry, we have something called informed consent. We can't just tell someone to take medication or undergo treatment, right? We have to help them make an informed choice. And here's what I noticed. The patients who said yes to treatment weren't convinced by all the medical facts and statistics. They were more moved by how the treatment would make them feel. Look, that patient struggling with depression didn't care about serotonin levels. They cared about feeling hopeful again. The anxiety patient didn't want to hear about neurotransmitters. They wanted to feel calm and in control. But here's where it gets interesting. When I left nursing and I started my first business, I completely forgot this lesson. I was so focused on explaining what my product did and how it all worked and all the features and the benefits, and it lost me £65,000 in 3 months because nobody bought. Now, why was that? Because I was selling to their logical brain when people buy with their emotional one. Now, fast forward to 2009, I've just been fired from my nursing job. Yes, fired. And I'm sitting in my car thinking, what am I going to do now? And that's when it hit me. I needed to marry what I knew about human psychology with business. So I started my own healthcare company. But this time, I approached every conversation differently. Instead of leading with, we provide supported living services for people with mental health conditions, I started with, how does it feel knowing your loved one isn't getting the care they deserve? Instead of talking about our qualifications and processes, I talked about the peace of mind family would have when they send their relatives to me, the relief, the hope. And then something magical happened. People started saying yes. Not because my service was different or better, it was the same as everyone else's, but because I was speaking to their emotions, not the logic. Within 2 years, I quadrupled that business. By 31, I was financially free, and by 33, I was a millionaire. All because I learned the one truth. People buy to feel a certain way and to avoid feeling a certain way. That's it. Now, let me break this down for you because this is the foundation of everything I teach in my sales programs. There are only two core emotional drivers that make people buy. Number one, moving toward pleasure. This is about gaining something, security, status, connection, freedom, confidence. And number two, moving away from pain. This is about avoiding something like fear, guilt, shame, uncertainty, embarrassment, that sort of thing. And here's the key thing. People typically are 3 to 5 times stronger to move away from something than toward. And that's why those charity ads work so well, don't they? They start with those children suffering, they make you feel guilty, and then they show you something that will make you feel good by donating. So here's my 3-step emotional sales process. Step 1, identify their emotional state. What are they really feeling right now? Frustrated, overwhelmed, scared? Don't assume it. Just ask your audience, what brought them here today? And then shut up and listen. Step 2, amplify the emotion. If they're frustrated with their current situation, then help them feel that their frustration is deeper than they thought. How is it affecting other areas of their life? Where else is it showing up? And then step 3, position your solution as the emotional bridge. Don't sell them your product, sell them how they'll feel when their problem is solved. Imagine waking up tomorrow and never having to worry about this again. How does that make you feel? Make sense? Look, this isn't manipulation. This is understanding human nature and helping people make decisions that are right for them. Let me give you some real examples of this in action. Now, look, all seen those charity adverts on TV. They don't start with saying we're a registered charity, blah, 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 with excellent financial ratings. No, they show you images of suffering children, animals, whatever it is, and they make you feel something. Guilt, sadness, empathy. And then they say for just £3 a month, you can make all these feelings go away and feel like you're making a difference instead. That's emotional selling at its finest. Think about luxury car ads. They don't talk about the engine specifications. They say you the feeling of success, of being admired, having arrived in life. Make sense? Look, in my own business, I had a client who came to me struggling with sales. Instead of pitching my sales training program, I asked him, how does it feel when you finish a sales call and the person says no? And he said, like, I'm not good enough, like I'm failing my family. And that's when I knew exactly how to help him. I didn't sell him sales techniques. I sold him the feeling of confidence, knowing that he could provide for his family and never having to worry about not feeling enough again. He invested £10,000 that day, not because of my credentials or because of the program features, but because I understood his emotional reality. And here's the thing. 6 months later, he made that investment back 5 times over, because when you solve an emotional problem, the practical results, they just follow. Now look, this is just scratching the surface on sales psychology. What I've shared with you today is the foundation, but there's so much more. How do you identify someone's specific emotional drivers in the first 5 minutes of a conversation? How do you handle objections when someone's logical brain kicks in? How do you close without feeling salesy or pushy? These are the advanced techniques I teach in my Closing Incubator program, where I take business owners and salespeople through my complete system for ethical, psychology-based selling. But before we talk about that, I want to give you something for free. If you comment the word psychology below this video, I'll send you my complete guide on reading emotional buying signals, the subtle cues that tell you exactly when someone wants to say yes to you. And if you're serious about mastering this, if you want to learn the complete system that's generated me over 22 million in sales, for my clients also over 200, then let's have a conversation. Because here's the truth. You can't keep on going on convincing people with features, benefits, and logic. If you keep on doing that, honestly, you're just not going to help them to buy, are you? The choice is up to you. You can either carry on doing what you're doing or do nothing at all. And all I know is this. Nothing in life is secure unless you secure it yourself, my friend. And the future for you is to master the art of psychology and influence. So comment psychology below and let me send you that guide.